and welcome back to another video. My name's Lucy and I'm a PhD student at the University of Birmingham, and I'm here today to talk to you about what you should do or what you should know when you start a PhD. Probably in September, but maybe not. Okay, so my first bit of advice, and it's gonna sound really boring, is just do the paperwork. When you start a PhD, you're going to have some paperwork. You'll need to register, you'll need to get your ID card, you might need to sign up for a desk, you might want to sign up for some archives on campus. There will be all these boring, bureaucratic things that you have to do, which aren't hard, but it's best just to get them done in the first week because then they're done. Meet with your supervisors as soon as you can. Now, if you've got good supervisors like I did, they'll probably reach out to you before you reach out to them, but there's no harm in being proactive. So as soon as you get on campus and have your university email set up, send them an email, arrange to meet with them, because the sooner you have that first meeting, the sooner you can start building that relationship. And honestly, your relationship with your supervisor is going to be your most important probably throughout the PhD. It's not going to be your only important relationship. Use that first meeting to set expectations. Be honest with them, let them know kind of your work style, what you expect from a PhD, what you hope to get out of a PhD. I think that first meeting is a really important one to set expectations of what you're going to be doing for the next 3-4 years. So reach out to them as soon as you can and get a face-to-face meeting. This is my next piece of advice, and I really recommend go to freshers. I know you're probably thinking, but I'm a PhD student, I don't need to go to freshers. Maybe if you're an international, you've never heard of freshers, or maybe if you're an older student, you know, I was 26 when I started my PhD. I was kind of like, do I really want to go to freshers, like with all the 18-year-olds? Let me allay your fears. For a start, if you're an international student, a freshers week is basically just the first week of term. It actually normally starts the week before the technical start date of the university, and it's when the university puts on a bunch of social events that range from coffee shops, campus tours, nights out, society fairs, and any kind of social event you can think of, there will be one like that. And the great thing is at University of Birmingham, and I'm sure other UK universities do this, is they have PGR specific events and then postgrad specific events. So if you want to go to freshers but don't want to interact with 18-year-olds, you don't have to. I only went to postgraduate freshers events because that's what I was interested in. I went to coffee mornings, I went to campus tours, I went to wine and cheese evenings, all these different events to meet different postgrads from different departments, different degrees. Like some of them were masters, some of them were researchers, some of them were PhD students like me. And honestly, I made the majority of my friends during Freshers Week. That I met them on a random campus tour. That's when I got the majority of my friends. Not all of them, but the majority. So please go to your Freshers Week. It's not a waste of time. It's a really good opportunity to meet people because everyone's in the same boat. Everybody's there, they're trying to make friends, and it's a great chance to socialise and build up or start to build up your network that's probably going to support you throughout your PhD. Kind of tying in with that, the other thing I would suggest is within not necessarily your first week, because you're probably going to have a lot going on. It's going to feel quite overwhelming, especially if you're going to a university or a city like me that you've never been to before. Doubly so if you're coming to a country you've never been to before or lived in before. But one thing I would recommend is if in your first month, take a couple of days and explore campus. Go to the Barber Institute, go to the Geology Museum, explore all the campuses, cafes, go to the one in the library, go to the Starbucks, go to the Costa, find your favourite, go to Aroma Cafe, go to the 2 different pubs that we have on campus. Just explore campus, find out all the little places, because you don't want to get 3 years in and realise your favourite coffee shop was in a building you never went into and you could have been working there the whole time. It's also just a really good way to familiarise yourself with campus and to start feeling more at home, I think, at the University of Birmingham. So take some time by yourself or get a group of friends together and just go for a walk around campus. Our campus is huge, it's really pretty, you can definitely go for a walk around it and just explore. That's what it's there for. We're slightly shifting tone here, but I would say one of the things to think about before you start a PhD is go into it with the mindset of this is my job. If you're doing it full time, whether you're unfunded or funded, treat it like a job. And in that sense, obviously it's a job you love, you're passionate about it, you're probably doing a subject that you're really enthusiastic about. But at the end of the day, you need to be professional. You want to set good boundaries. If you watched my video last week, it's really important to set good work-life balance and set boundaries. And part of that is treating it like a job. And if you treat it like a job, it means that it won't take over your whole life. Hopefully. That's what we hope. But if you treat it like a job, it also means you can take holidays and you can take a weekend off without feeling guilty, because you would do that if this was a normal job. Although a PhD is a passion project, and I firmly believe it 100% is, you should also treat it like a job, because you're entering kind of a professional workspace. You're still a student, but you're kind of interacting more with the staff. You want to set a positive example. You want to treat people professionally, show that you're taking this seriously, and that you, especially if you want a future in academia, this is kind of your first training wheels. So network, meet people across different departments, across different disciplines. As part of that, I think probably in my first 3 months of the PhD, all I did was read. And that's, I think, a pretty normal experience. So when you arrive, after you've settled in, probably about week 2, you'll start thinking, okay, I should start producing stuff now. I should start working on my PhD. And that's when the reading comes in. You're going to read all the things. The piece of advice I would give you is find out what the most important articles or books are in your field, and not only read them, but look who they're citing. Are there any common articles or books or critics that keep getting cited? And if so, write them down, make a list. If you've seen my organising my research list, you know I have a huge Word document of scholarship I want to read. And I just add to that every time I come across something, and then I colour code it, because I'm one of those people. I love a good colour coding list. And yeah, because in your first few months, all you're going to do is read. So make lists, ask your supervisors, go to them, say you found 10 articles based off other stuff you've been reading, and just say to them, hey, are any of these articles good? Are there any you would recommend more than others? Do you think there's some I've missed? So remember, you can always ask your supervisors for advice like that. I remember when I arrived, I had to start looking into the death drive and queer theory, and I really didn't understand it. And I went to my supervisors and they were like, okay, read these other things, that'll help you understand it and it'll help it make more sense. And it did. So read a lot, communicate with your supervisors, make lists, and I'd say that puts you in a really good place at the start of your PhD. So the final point I would say for new PhD starters, and I might have covered this in other ways, but it's subtly different, is get involved with your department. Get involved with the university. And I'm talking particularly about academic involvement. Go to seminars that your department puts on. Go to workshops that the library puts on to help PhD students. Immerse yourself in the world of academia. For example, the Department of English at the University of Birmingham has a bunch of reading groups on a whole range of different topics. And if they interest you or if they relate to your research, go to them. It's a great way to meet other people studying what you're interested in, find out things that maybe you wouldn't know, expose yourself to new literature. Or if you're like me and you turn up and you're like, hey, there isn't one on romance. What gives? Can I make one? I had that conversation with my supervisors really early on, and then we made one. And then it kind of stopped because of coronavirus, and that's okay. Hopefully we'll start it back up again when we can. But that's a great way to get involved with the academic community and to meet other people. Similarly, sign up to be a member of journal articles, whether that's as peer reviewers, editors that are on your university. So at the University of Birmingham, we have Ad Alta, and I signed up to be a peer reviewer. And that's just another way to increase your network, to get involved with academic life. Similarly, with the network that I've started, or helped start, with a group of other wonderful people, the Midlands Network of Popular Culture. We had our forum on Thursday, and we started that because we realised there wasn't a centre or a research network or anything like that dedicated to popular culture at the University of Birmingham, and it didn't feel like it quite fit in with the other centres that already existed. So we were like, hey, we're going to make our own, and then we were like, hey, we should make this for the whole of Midlands, not just UOB. Hence the network of popular culture was born. midspop, as we colloquially call it. But these are all great ways to get involved with your department, meet other researchers who are doing things similar to you but slightly different, and also they look great on your academic CV. They really help, they're important things to have, and from that slightly more cynical side, they kind of give you a bit of a leg up potentially on other PhD students, which I realise it's early to think about, but that's kind of how you have to think when you enter academia, because 3 to 4 years is going to go quick. It's going to go really quick. So my last piece of advice is have fun with it. This is 3-4 years of your life where you get to research something you love for a full-time job. Whether you're funding it yourself or you're unfunded, enjoy the process. You're not going to love every single second, but enjoy it as much as you can. Relish the freedom, relish the opportunities it's giving you, and just have fun with it, because that's the most important thing. Okay, I hope this video was helpful, and I'll see you next week. Bye!